I want to show you. Here is Egon Schiele when he was 16 years old. He's the one who did the nude girl. Great promise, academic training. The back of the skull of the head, how he's searching for the shape. The stiff collar representing starch collar. The little edge of his nose, how sharply he's looking. He's doing those lines as if he's touching the profile, his own profile. And 4 years later, at the age of 20, this is where his art went. Imaginative, daring, original. He made an arm. If that figure dropped the arm, it would be off the format. It would just be hanging below the format. But he used that arm to create a composition. He distorts proportion. That's my point. I want to make it clear. Also, he does a decoration for the spinal column. That never left me. I still, to this day, find myself doing circles like that, thinking of a spinal column. I just found it inspiring. And here's Sidney Goodman. He's still alive. And as a painter, I looked at this drawing with great affection. Here's somebody who, in process, made the arms very light and the body very, very dark. It's impossible for that to be real. You couldn't have so much light on the arms and not have reflective light on the chest. But somehow he distorted the light, or for whatever reason. I think he didn't like what he did, and then he stepped back and said, "Ooh, it works," and left it. That's a very common experience with painters, that you do something and it's not pleasing, and you go in and you mush around, and suddenly it's working, and it's not what you intended, but you keep it because it's working. And this is contour drawing, where you only draw the contour of shapes. And this is by Henri Matisse. And I would say it probably took him 30 seconds to do this. He was getting ready to do a portrait of his biographer, Aragon, and they spent a lot of time together. It took Aragon 17 years to write that double biography, but it took them through a long, enduring friendship. And just to show you, these are 9 of 50-odd sketches, and perhaps 100, but there are 50 that were in a book. I didn't wish to bore you with all of them. But I wanted to show you how Matisse stuck to his conviction that portraiture is not about likeness. Doing a photographic copy of a subject is not what makes great portraiture. I chose one of them to give you an idea of how an artist sees. And in this case, we are the artists, and our source is Matisse. We're looking at his piece. Artists work from other artists' work. Their artists work from subject matter, models. Artists work from photographs. So if you want to understand how an artist sees, you first look at how an artist separates the subject matter from the negative shape. How they divide their canvas. And then you look at the relationship of 3 things at once. Perhaps in this case, perhaps it is the shoulder and the nose. and the ear, or the back of the head. Let us say you do this line first, and then you do a dot here, just to indicate where you want to follow through, and then the relationship to the nose to this, and then the relationship of the nose to the top of the head and the ear. In other words, you're looking at 3 places at once. You might be doing dots because you're formulating your composition, and then you go in with a single line and you forget your discomfort or lack of confidence, and you go for a strong line, just like the lines you did at the first exercise, the experiential scribbling exercise we did. And what we are going to distribute is this drawing with the exact size of the format below it, and I'm going to ask you to do it upside down, looking at 3 places at once. But the only advice I can give you, because I found I had this happen 2 or 3 times in my class, is someone drew in the blank space a right side up version, and I thought they must have dyslexia. How did they turn that around in their head? So if you want to start with the top of the head, and it's at the bottom of the format, start at the bottom of the format, of the blank format. In other words, wherever you start will determine whether your picture is upside down. And think that you are drawing abstract lines, and take lines that are not frightened. I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Okay. Now, remember I said that Matisse said that likeness is not the issue, something else is, and that's, of course, the attributes of art. May I just take this? What I suggest you do is forget about your source. Your source was Matisse. And just fold the page in half. May I do that for you? Then turn it right side up. Have you ever drawn before?
Yeah.
You have? Because she's got the negative space. Right? When you go to a gallery and they're showing, or a museum, and they have portraits, they don't have the model standing next to the portrait so you could check out how accurate the artist is, because that's not the point of portraiture. The point of portraiture is to come up with something that works from an artistic point of view. May I show you? Thank you. Okay. Just to show you how fantastic this experience. These are people who didn't draw at all. Look at the quality of the line. Look at this gorgeous line in here. Strong draw. So either I'm a great teacher or you're a great student. They're both charming. They're fun. They're fun. Just this little section in here is like the calligraphy that we looked at. But can you imagine if you drew for a week what you would accomplish? That's one thing about this work. You keep growing.